You guys ready? All right. Welcome to the Nottingham Zoning Board of Adjustment. I'd like to open public hearing on case 18011 VA, application from Jesse Killingsworth requesting a variance from Article 2, Section C2 of the Nottingham zoning ordinance to permit the replacement of existing stairs as a means of egress with portions of the new stairs within the 20-foot setback. It is 14.6 feet from the road, encroaching 5.6 feet on the setbacks. Property is located at 62 Freeman Hall Road in Nottingham, identified as tax map 14, lot 8. Certainly.
All right.
Pull the microphone over to you.
Sure. All right. Now, how does it work? Me just tell you what we need?
Present your case.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you're asking for, you satisfy the criteria that are required of you by law?
Yeah, I mean,
Let me ask you questions maybe?
okay. All we did was we took off the stairs in the on the back door, okay? The porch and stairs, of course, were getting old and rickety and needed to be replaced. So what we wanted to do was to take and widen those out. We're not coming any closer to the road at all. It's still the exact same distance from the road that it always has been. All we did was go this way down the building, sideways, okay? And we only went 2 feet on either side. So we went from 6 foot to 10 foot wide, okay? That's all we wanted to do. In order doing that, we're able to make it wide enough so that we can more easily get the groceries in and out that we pick up for our food pantry. Makes it much easier. It makes it easier to get the trucks off the road when we back in to unload, you know, the groceries that we get if we take the pickup truck and back it in, because the steps are now less risers. They're not 8-inch risers anymore, they're 6-inch risers, okay? So it makes it much easier for our people to get in and out because most of our churchers is elderly folk. So it makes it much easier for them to get in and out. Plus we can back the trucks up farther into that. So we're completely out of the road when we back in. Our nose isn't sticking out in the road anymore like it used to. So it makes it safer for everybody involved here. It makes it much, much better for us to be able to serve the community and our own people. And we are not encroaching towards the road at all, or towards any other property line or anything. We're not encroaching in there. So I would very much appreciate it if you'd let us do it.
I seem to be missing parts of the paperwork in my... Yeah, I just have the letter and criteria 5.
It's in here.
Same here.
I have the original here. Dig it out.
Do you want me to get a copy of it for everyone, or?
Don't think so. I think we can read through it. I think we've been busy this week. That's the other case. That's why it's not looking familiar. Not seeing it in here either. I wonder if maybe it's on the copier.
Or maybe it got stuck.
See, that's just the letter in 5. There's like the page is missing. Oh, this is it. Ah, there it is. Thank you. That's the other case.
Sorry, no wonder.
Thank you.
I didn't find it on here.
Sorry for that.
Oh,
Here we go. So on your paperwork here, the variance would not be contrary to the public interest. Any discussion on that point? No? So, do you guys feel that he's met that?
I don't see an issue with it.
Okay, so that's, Bonnie, and your vote on that?
I just had one question on something that you said. You said it's not encroaching towards a road. I assume
Any
that
more
it
than
isn't
it-
any more than it was.
right, right. No farther than it's ever been.
It's only going
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
It's always been that deep.
Yeah, it's exactly the same distance from the road that the old one was. So nothing is going out towards the road. So we haven't gone out any farther.
So how are the trucks going to get further off the road, just as a?
Because the steps are less of a riser, when you have the tailgate down, you can come way back farther.
Okay.
I had a question, if it's the same distance, would it be grandfathered in, or?
We don't
No,
use
because
the
he's
term
making-
No,
grandfather.
because he's within, because he's inside the 20-foot setback already, any change necessitates.
Okay, because he made it wider, that's all.
Right.
The
that's a
two
change.
2-foot sections is what I understand is what we're talking about. Because the 6-foot section, from what I understood, we could have replaced as
Correct.
is. But adding the 2 feet on either side, those two sections is what we're really talking about.
Oh.
Because they're actually add-ons.
It went from 6 feet to 10 feet.
Right, right.
Spirit of the ordinance, it's improved safety, and the aesthetics are improved. Substantial justice, allowing improvement to Church Hall, improves public safety and the beauty of the building. And he has, for values surrounding properties are not diminished. And then criteria 5, literal enforcement of the provisions would result in unnecessary hardship. All right. Anything else on? It seems like a pretty straightforward, simple case.
Yeah, it's just,
Are you guys here for this case or the other case?
Yep,
That's what I thought.
I support him.
Okay. Thank you.
good man. You want me to stick around and support you?
Sure.
All right, so
Every day.
anybody else here want to speak to this case? All right, so then we can start voting? All right. So on variance would not be contrary to the public interest. I vote yay. That is correct. That's 5-0. Spirit of the ordinance is observed. I vote yes. Teresa?
Yeah,
That's 5-0. Substantial justice is done. I'm a yes. Terry? Yes, yes, 5-0. On the issue of property values not diminished, I agree. Teresa, 5-0. And unnecessary hardship. Yeah, there is no other way to really make that improvement without doing what he's doing, so I agree on that one. Okay, that's also 5-0, if I'm reading body language correctly. Okay. There you go, sir.
Awesome.
There's a 30-day appeal window, but I don't see
I'm
any.
not gonna appeal.
No, anybody can appeal.
Oh, I see. Anybody
Yeah.
can appeal.
Others, you know, people that,
Oh, okay.
But
there's Zanzibar.
Well, all of our abutters live somewhere else. So I think we're okay. I deeply appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
service.
All right, that's closing hearing on case 18001 VA. And now before us is case 18012 SE, application from Thomas Bukowitz requesting a special exception from Article 2, Section C2 of the Nottingham zoning ordinance to permit an attached garage with expanded living space on the second floor, not an ADU, 21 feet from the property line where 50 feet is required. Property is located at 2 Washington Lane in Nottingham, identified as tax map 13, lot 5, sublot 7.
Hi, my name is Tim Brochu. I'm a New Hampshire licensed architect and principal and manager of Audra Architecture LLC, based in Kittery, Maine. I'm the architect working with Tom. Do you want Tom to state his name?
Sure.
Hi, Thomas Bukovich. I live at 2 Washington Lane. This guy's the expert, so I'll let him handle it.
So we've put together this application here. Hopefully you've all had a chance to look at it. I've been working with Tom on the design of an addition for a garage and second-story habitable space to his home at 2 Washington Lane in Nottingham. He's requesting a special exception to permit this addition to be closer than 50 feet, but not closer than 20 feet from the side property line. In his zone, the side property line requirement is 50 feet to habitable dwelling. But the zoning paragraph does allow for this board to grant a special exception to reduce that to no less than 20 feet from the side property line. So that's what we're requesting. The notice that went out noted that that the building was located 21 feet, or the proposed addition was 21 feet from the property line. I just want to make clear that we are requesting up to 20 feet for the setback. Currently, it's drawn where we think it's about 21 feet from that property line, but we just want to make sure we're trying to give ourselves a little breathing room there. So we'd appreciate if this board would permit it up to the 20 feet that they're able to do through the zoning ordinance. I'll talk briefly about the design, and then I'll come back and talk about how I believe we're meeting all of the requirements for a special exception. So you should have a set of drawings here. I'll just flip through them quickly. There are a couple of 3D images that show the existing building with the garage addition. So the existing house is this colonial box here on one side, and this portion here would be the garage addition with the second story space above it. Also in the back of the house, this might be helpful to look at this here. At the back of the house, he has an existing deck back here. That garage addition would extend back a bit from the back of the house, and then he's looking to do a bit of an overhang there to cover a wood pile and to cover that existing deck. And we're considering some modifications to the deck as well, which might end up being a rebuild. We're not sure if we'll be able to use what's there or not yet. But that's well within the zoning requirements, so it shouldn't really affect this board's decision. I'll skip through some more 3D images of the interior. So the site plan here, there are two site plans. This shows the overall property, and then the next page shows a close-up of the building. As you can see, hopefully it's clear on the drawing here, the property has a significant conservation easement on it. So I don't know if it's half of the property, but it looks like it's close to about half of the property there is reserved as a conservation easement where you can't build. So that effectively narrows down the area of the site where he would be allowed to build quite a bit. Not only that, but it is a very hilly site. These contour lines are approximate, but it gives you a sense of the slope on that site. So this spot where the house is situated is really the only spot where we're able to expand and build it. And there's not really a opportunity to come out to the other side of the house because of the conservation easement and the slope there. The next page shows that site plan a little closer up. It shows the extent of the existing dwelling here. It shows the proposed addition, which is proposed as a 4-car garage with 2 in front and 2 in the back. And you can see the extent of that there. And then, as I mentioned, we have a proposed overhang over the wood pile on the deck on one side. There are floor plans here, just showing the garage layout. The garage is approximately 26 feet off the side of the existing house and 37 feet deep. On the upper level, we're really just trying to, we're building what's kind of a large garage addition. We're trying to take advantage of some of that space on the second floor with some space that he'd really like to have up there. There's an existing master bedroom here and an existing bathroom. He's looking to expand the master bathroom to have a space for a tub, as well as his laundry room up there. Because of the addition, we're moving the laundry machines from the bathroom downstairs to upstairs because we're putting in an entryway and reconfiguring the closets down there. So this gives him some space up here for his laundry. He's got a walk-in closet up there and then an exercise room, all accessed off of the master bedroom. So we're not proposing another bedroom up here. This is really just kind of accessory space that's going to be accessed off of the master bedroom. And then the rest of the space here is just shelf space for storage. And so again, we're not looking to build that out at this point. It's really just a space up above the garage. And then some elevations here. We've tried to have the new addition more or less match the design and the look of the existing building. So we have a similar, we're lining up the roof lines a bit, a similar size and spacing of windows, and bringing in some symmetry like you have in the original building. And then the sides, I'll let you flip through the elevations there to see what they look like, but it's pretty straightforward. Again, it's just a garage on the lower level and trying to get just a few windows in on the upper level there. So that's the scope that we've proposed for the design. I'll come back now and talk about the conditions or the criteria for the special exception and how we think that this satisfies them. So first is criteria 1, whether the goals set forth in New Hampshire RSA 674-17-1 will be infringed by granting such special exception. We have a statement in the materials you receive that says, it will not be infringed because the requested special exception will not impact congestion in the streets, will not impact safety from fires, panic, or other dangers, will not impact health or the general welfare, will not impact the supply of adequate light and air, will not overcrowd the land, will not change the concentration of population, will not impact the provision of transportation, solid waste facilities, water, sewerage, schools, parks, or child daycare, will not impact the use of natural resources, has no impact on agricultural lands, and finally has no impact on any solar or other renewable energy systems. So those are all the line items in that ordinance that we're addressing. And in the questions, if there are any particular things there, we'd be happy to go into more detail about any of those. Criteria 2 is whether the terrain or configuration of the lot make it more appropriate than not for such a special exception to be granted. As I mentioned in looking at the site plan, both the terrain and the configuration of the lot present a hardship to him in building out this property. Our statement says both the terrain and the configuration of this lot make it more appropriate than not for this special exception to be granted due to the combination of factors which present a hardship for the property owner. Firstly, the existing home is halfway up a hillside, and thus the terrain of the lot is characterized by a significant slope, with only the proposed special exception area immediately near the house being level enough to build upon safely. Secondly, the remainder of the lot consists of a forest and wetlands that are under a conservation easement that precludes any construction. Simply put, this is the only possible location for this attached garage. And then criteria 3, whether the granting of such special exception would adversely impact the neighboring parcels or rural character of the town. And we said granting this special exception would not adversely impact the neighboring parcels at all because the proposed location is set approximately 350 feet back from the street and is generally not visible from surrounding parcels due to the heavily wooded nature of the lot and the surrounding lots. Furthermore, it would not impact the rural character of the town, as it does not increase population density, and it is in alignment with the existing character of the neighborhood, where the majority of houses are larger in size and already have attached garages. And just some supporting graphics there. This is a satellite image showing the property. There's a little spot in yellow here, which is the location of the house. You can see it's surrounded by woods. And it's quite a bit higher than this lower parcel down here. As I said, that's a steep slope up to where the building's located on top of that hill. And it's a good distance from the only abutting property, other than the properties across the street. So it's pretty well secluded and not really visible from any of these other properties. And then this graphic down here is a site plan I presented a few minutes ago, overlaid with some coloring that roughly shows the extents of the trees and woods on that property. So again, it's a forested lot with really this spot here being the only place that really makes sense to build. I think that's it. I'll stop there, and we're happy to answer any questions you have.
Questions from the board? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's Tim Brochu.
Tim, I'm wondering why you're not asking for a variance, not asking for a special exception. Is that normal for use?
I can answer that, actually. That was actually what I was originally advised to do, but then upon my reading of the ordinances, the town ordinances and the residential zoning, I actually saw that it listed that there was a special exception for the side setbacks, whereas normally they're 50 feet. It said specifically that you guys might be able to grant a special exception for anything that is less than 50, but not less than 20. And my understanding, so first I did start to fill out the variance form, and it was longer and more complex, and it asked about things such as proving the unconstitutionality of the law as it's applied here. And I talked to, and I went back down to the zoning office, and I talked, and actually the special exception was sufficient for this purpose. And seeing as it was an easier application, I thought it was easier for everybody involved than trying to prove constitutionality of how things apply. And we didn't need to build any closer than that 20 feet.
I'll just add to that if it's helpful. I have the paragraph reference here from the zoning ordinance. This is Article 2, Section C, Paragraph 2. I'm sorry, let me jump down a paragraph. It notes that special exceptions to this ordinance may be granted by the Zoning Board of Adjustment based on weighing of the following considerations, which were those criteria that we talked about. But in no case shall less than 20 feet be permitted for habitable structures. So our understanding there was that a special exception would be appropriate here to allow this addition to go up to 20 feet, if that's permitted by the board.
I just have one concern based on the topography of the lot and drainage with the new big garage there. I was wondering if you had some type of plan for dealing with drainage and...
I was actually planning on collecting the rainwater for watering the garden. That way there's less impact on the well as far as electrical use and wearing out the pump, because we have a little garden in the front yard, and actually the rainwater is probably better for it than the well water anyways. So I was looking to hook rain barrels up to the back of it and capture that. So I don't think runoff will be an issue.
I will just add that if you look at the the enlarged site plan, which is one of the drawings here, most of the area that we're putting the addition in is actually part of an existing driveway there. So, and is that all paved, Tom?
Yeah, I think approximately like 90% of maybe 80% of what we're proposing for a roof area is already covered by an impervious driveway surface. So again, it's not really going to make a difference there.
And we might, by the time it's all excavated, we might end up losing some of the driveway over on this side. So I think that, I don't know that it's quite a wash, but we'll be close to the impervious surface that's already there on the site.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you, gentlemen. Abutters, did you guys want to say anything?
Andrew Turco.
You guys go ahead and sit, and they'll come up.
Just have some questions regarding, Jim, you want to come up too? How many notices went out to abutters? Or what is there some requirement that just one had to go out? And it went to you, Jim? Okay,
I got to register that.
so,
Did you not get a letter, Mr. Turcott?
I did not.
Well, I don't think you directly abut his property.
I do not.
Oh, okay, that's why you didn't get
But
one.
I live in the neighborhood, and my opinion is that the entire neighborhood is affected by such a structure. And when Mr. Flanagan let me know what was happening and showed me the letter, which was only a day ago or 2 days ago, unanimously, every neighbor that I spoke to was opposed to it. And they all would like to be heard, but it was too late for them because they weren't notified to have their voices heard. So they requested of me to just ask if we could table this until your next zoning board meeting, so because they feel this action would impact everyone. I heard the architect say that the majority of houses have detached garages. That is not true. Most houses in our neighborhood have under-house garages. That's the majority. Some have bump outs with a garage underneath it, but the majority are drive-unders. So that part of the application is inaccurate.
That's what this is, the drive-under garage.
No, it's a
That's,
attached.
that's,
He said, oh,
well, it's a drive under because it has
under
living space
living
above it.
space.
Yeah, so it's an attached drive under garage. right, but you said the majority of the houses have detached garages, and that's not true.
Well, actually.
No, I think
we
you said attached.
yeah.
Said
I think you
attached.
said attached.
He did.
Yeah.
He said
Okay.
attached.
Yeah.
All right, well, if it's the majority, I would challenge that too. It's not the majority. Most of the houses are all drive under, so you can't see, there's no semblance of a garage. The garage is underneath it's underneath like a, you wouldn't know there was a garage there. You'd think cars parked out. There's no discernible garage space on the majority houses in the neighborhood.
But all those, I mean, they have to put those garages in when they build the house, so, I mean, he has no alternative to,
Well, yeah, if the space.
Put a garage
the space is
under
there,
the
they-
house.
Yeah, if the space is there, they build the garage.
Right.
Otherwise, they build the house.
Right.
According to the setbacks.
Right.
Which why you guys have setbacks of 50 feet, I'm sure.
Right.
I mean, if someone wants 5 or 10 feet, I think it's a different thing, but if everyone decides to build a 2-car garage 20 feet from the lot, the neighborhood's not quite the same. I mean,
well,
Right, and
where
the-
do you
and
draw
the
line?
other-
I mean,
right,
I'd love
and-
to go to 2-car garage, but I don't have the setbacks for conservation land. I mean, I wouldn't expect you guys to give me 30 feet off. I would figure 5 or 6 feet, maybe you'd listen to me, but at less than half the acceptable distance, that's a lot. That's quite a bit to.
but he doesn't have a lot of land there.
But you knew when he bought the
yeah,
land.
you buy the
And
house
like,
first.
I knew what I bought when I bought my land. I think Ms. Flanagan knew everything when he bought his land. We all knew that. And if something like this is granted, what is to stop other neighbors of saying, well, I want to build a house over here because, who knows how many other houses in the neighborhood have a hardship where they don't have a 50-foot setback, but they want to build. This would set a precedent that, well, they can do it too. So that is a directive.
We don't set precedent.
Yeah, the,
Seriously,
yeah, yeah,
really, we do not set precedent.
no.
Every
Yeah, the
case is-
decisions of the zoning board do not
Are
set
individual.
precedent.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, everyone is based on the merits of the individual application.
But again, I want to go back to, those are some points that I can bring up regarding that, but, for instance, Eric Demas, my neighbor directly across the street, he verbally requested me that we would greatly appreciate it if our neighborhood could be heard. A lot of people want to participate, and, if you could grant continuance until the next zoning board meeting, which would be next month, it's only 30 days. If that's not unreasonable, we would appreciate it if that would be considered.
I'm not the closest house either. I don't know why I'm the only person to get notified. There's a neighbor on the side that he's building that's a lot closer. But that house was empty for a while for
Trying to look
sale.
at the,
I don't know if you guys know it's occupied.
Right, and then
People
there's-
moved in, so.
And then there's Matt and whatever, I can't remember her name, but the Nebraska's old house, that's directly abutting too.
Well, let me say that we have a general idea of the neighborhood, but we don't know who abuts.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys, you know better than we do.
There's not many houses in the garage.
So the-
Bigger than the house, so
I-
that's
I
the size
have-
of the house.
I have as the abutters list, I have Jeffrey Cole Builders, Raymond Road in Nottingham. Fontenot, 23 Revolutionary.
That's the name.
Copes.
Yes, Matt.
Copes at 24 Revolutionary. Guerra at 4 Washington Lane. Belanger at 3 Washington Lane. Clinton at Hampton Falls. And Stephen at 22 Revolutionary Lane. And Flanagan at 18 Revolutionary Lane. So that's all the direct abutters, all the,
We're directly across the street, so the, whatever the odd number was, that would be the direct abutter, so.
Yeah, it's spaced out.
So 19 or 20, whatever one
Across
of
the street can be abutters,
them. Can
absolutely.
they? All right.
He's referring to across the street from him, and that would
I
be,
mean,
that's
across the
four
street from
houses.
the subject property, they are abutters also.
Yes, no, we sent out notifications to everybody across the street and diagonal. And 10 people were notified in total. And they were speaking of the person next door to me. They were saying there was a vacant house. The new owner of that house, Jason Spearin, he was notified. He wasn't in the records at the time, so I went over and I introduced myself to him as he had just moved in. And he agrees, he thinks this is a good idea, and he actually gave me contact information for a contractor that he recommended who came out and is going to be giving me a quote on this. So he's the closest person, he's the only person that can actually see my house without a completely obstructed forest in between, and he's in favor. This gentleman has about 5 houses in between his and mine. And this gentleman is diagonal across the intersection with a significant amount of forest and conservation area in between. I would also like to note that where they're worried about this changing the neighborhood and causing precedents and things like that and granting of exceptions. I believe this gentleman had an unfortunate house fire a few years ago and he rebuilt his house. And I think that there were some allowances made there that were granted beyond homeowners association setback rules and things like that.
They weren't.
So I think
I don't think
it's
so.
understood
No.
that everybody
Doing no exceptions.
may need
made.
certain adjustments to rules from time to time.
Joanna, did we send out our notices according to the requirements?
Yeah, I
So
received,
that on the
I
record.
received the notice about 2.5 weeks ago, something.
So the abutter is required to pay for, I mean, the applicant is required to pay for all these notices. Our clerk sends them out by law. We have to meet a certain number of days before the hearing. And I'm not saying we're not gonna grant you 30 days, but I just wanted on the record that we did everything according to.
yeah, and I see all the direct abutters listed here on the abutter notification list. So I think people were notified properly, and it's also posted several places in town.
Right. Yeah, so those, so I don't know Jason Spears. Spearing, I don't know him. I just know the people that have been in the neighborhood since day one that are still there, and it was all news to them. I mean, you know, you got people that work all over the place, different states, and you know, I didn't know anything about it, so that's all I ask is, you know, the people would like to be heard. So why Jason's not here, why Matt's not here, I don't know. I can't speak for them, but I also don't know them very well. They.
But here's my concern,
Mm-hmm.
as a member of the board.
Yep.
You're saying the neighborhood wants to be heard, and I'm saying, where are they?
Right.
And if we postpone it 30 days, how do we know they'll show up? Because we know they were notified. I mean, you see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying.
And usually abutters who don't show don't have an objection. Like, you saw how many people showed up for the church, and I know personally, all the people who live around the church,
Yeah,
and none of them are here tonight,
yeah.
because I guess they don't have it on.
They don't have an issue.
Well, replacing some existing stairs with safer pressure-treated steps that are already
You get all kinds of-
framed up and going is a little bit different than building a garage that's bigger than your existing house.
I don't think it's bigger.
21 by 37 is probably a lot bigger than probably 24 by, what's that footprint? They're all the same, you know, it's a pretty common footprint in the neighborhood for that. It's actually not, because if you have to consider that part of that rectangle is the existing house. What's the footprint, what's the dimension of the existing foundation?
I don't know offhand, you would have to take
Right.
it, but I think that that's quite irrelevant to this discussion.
I can just ask, do you think this garage will hurt your property values? I mean, what's the concern?
The concern, again, are people want to be heard, that I spoke to. I'm not coming here to make it up. I mean, you know, that's just, I mean, Dan Gaffney, Sharon Gaffney, my wife would like to be here.
Eric wants to be here.
Flanagan's.
Eric Demus.
Eric Demus, his wife, Matt and Ann Stolpe.
But what do you want to be heard for?
I'm sorry?
What do you want to be heard for? What is the concern? What do you want to say?
I can't speak for them.
Okay, but what,
Yeah, but they need to be here tonight. Like, this is when the applicant has paid to have everybody notified and have a hearing. This is the night.
Okay.
But what are your concerns? I mean, you're obviously concerned about this. Is this gonna hurt your property values or affect
That's,
the neighborhood?
I have no idea if, I don't know if it would or not.
Is there some reason why you're speaking up?
I'm speaking on behalf of others in the neighborhood that wanted to be heard. That's why I'm here. I'm the voice of at least a half dozen people that couldn't be here because they didn't know about notifications.
but they
and-
didn't give you a message, right?
I'm sorry?
We need to know what your message is, other than
Right.
other people.
Right, we want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
We're listening.
Or what?
I can't speak for them.
Oh,
Mr.
It's
Flanagan-
impossible for me to speak for them. How can I speak?
Flanagan's in a butter.
I would agree with you.
Right.
Right.
Could you make a statement that you're concerned about this development because, what?
It's an awful big addition. I mean, it's a garage. It's a four-car garage. No one in the neighborhood has a four-car garage. It's not gonna look the same as the other houses like they mentioned. There's no way. It's gonna look out of place and odd. And again, my biggest concern is giving someone more than half the distance that they need to build something they don't have. It just seems excessive. I mean, I wouldn't dream of asking for that type of that big. I mean, it seems if you grant it, that's not what I expect, but it's not up to me. It's up to you guys. I think you'd have to grant it to the next person to give it to one. I don't know how you would say you
That is
can't.
not
I know you
true.
don't have to, but
That is not true.
it would be an awful hard
Every
thing
case is
to
different.
refuse somebody and accept someone else without reason. If it starts, I don't know when it stops. That's what I'm trying to say. There's 28 houses in the neighborhood. We all abide by the setbacks. We always have. So if you want to grant this one, it's okay. It's
The-
okay. I would love to have a four-car garage. I would go to tomorrow if you guys say it's okay, but I'm on conservation land. But guess who's here next week? It's me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it would look good. I don't think it's right.
This-
But
I think,
I think the laws are there for a reason.
And there's a spirit to why the 50-foot setback was at one point implemented. I don't know when that was, but it was implemented
Another
by the zoning
concern,
board of
too, is-
Nottingham.
Andrew, is the yellow house has changed hands 3-4 times next door to him since I've been there.
Right.
The next
Except
people,
this-
I'm quite sure, might not want
But,
their
I
20.
mean, this house is way back, I mean, unless you fly over it with an airplane, I don't think you're gonna see the garage at all.
yeah, I mean, that's an
It's not like, I
extenuating,
mean, from the aerial photo, it's way tucked in.
like your house is visible from the street.
Mhm.
But this one is not. I drove down there
Yeah.
earlier today. You can't see it unless you're literally looking down the driveway.
Well, looking up, right? 'Cause it's
Right,
up in the
right.
street, yeah. Oh, I mean, it's readily visible. It's not like it's hidden behind trees when you drive past the driveway. It's right there. You know, so now from the street, there would be now, in addition, it would be what, attached, going off,
To the right.
from the
Seen the
street to the
plans?
To the
right.
right.
Have you seen the plans?
I have not.
Well, why don't you come up here and have a look, or have
Or
this
you can
done?
show them too.
Show you,
Thank you.
only for residents. I mean, only for
Must be D.
accessory buildings like barns
It's gonna be 37D.
and sheds and
Correct, yeah.
not for the house is still.
Right.
To the house.
Non-habitable structures.
It would be detached, that would be another question.
Detached would be different,
If he moved that off the house by a foot, he could build it with detached.
Right,
At that, wouldn't not be here.
that's correct.
That's what we were just saying.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, the discussion on the board is that if he was to detach that, just move it away a foot,
6 inches.
right, he wouldn't even need to be before the board. Because a detached garage can be within 20 feet without a special exception.
Isn't it
It's only,
25?
no, it's 20,
So
for
that was
non-habitable
changed in the
structure.
zoning ordinance.
A couple years
Recent-
ago.
couple of years ago,
It used to be 50 for everything,
right.
and the town changed it to 20 for accessory buildings, like barns and.
On the sidelines, too.
Right, on the
On the
sidelines.
sideline.
50 feet on the front still. And we'd be hard pressed to go 50 closer to the road, I think. But he's 350 feet back. I mean, the architect's print, they've matched the style and the spacing of the windows. It looks very similar, to the original house.
Right. I'm just delivering the message.
I hear you.
You know, it's a nice looking drawing. I won't deny that. It looks good.
All the neighbors,
I'm just delivering the message.
all the neighbors could have written something quickly and.
Emailed it.
Emailed us. They could have
We're all
done- they could have
everyone's
done a
pretty
lot of
busy in life. I think
Right,
you
but-
can agree with that. And like I said, I only discovered this 2 days ago, and I just happened to be, at someone's house before the Patriots game because a friend was having a problem with the septic system, and right with Gaffney, and he said, "What? That's the first I've heard of it." And
Is he in a butter?
No, it's further down in
just
Washington.
he lives on
I mean,
Washington.
anybody can
Yeah,
come to these, you don't have to be in a butter.
Right.
Well, he's down I think he's down
One
in
in the
Georgia.
neighborhood, and we like to hear from a butter.
Yeah.
but They just show up when they're supposed to.
right. I have no idea you named off the people that were notified, and quite honestly, I don't really know any. I mean, I know most of our neighbors that have been there from the beginning.
Well, the reason I was asking is if we had missed someone,
Right.
we would have to postpone
Mm-hmm.
and reissue a notice to those persons who
Yeah.
didn't receive one. But if if they covered their bases,
Yeah.
I believe the applicant has to give the list to the,
Yeah, she assisted me in, to getting the list, so we were very thorough in getting all of the abutters.
One of the reasons we limit it is just expense to the applicant. I mean,
Yeah, it did cost $10 per abutter to notify.
but it
All right.
sounds like none of the immediate abutters, or are you saying some of the people you're mentioning are immediate abutters?
No, Eric would be his. Is Eric going to be? Is this his property line? I don't know.
All of these people that mentioned are
Yeah.
about 4 to 5 houses away.
Not sure, but like I said, the expense has already been paid. The $10 per certified letter, it's already been paid. So,
right.
is there any fee for coming in front of the board?
Yes?
Really?
Yeah.
What's that?
It was about $250 to $275 for
Yeah.
this meeting.
It's
They don't
generally-
pay us that money, but probably helps pay for our clerk who does a lot of work for us.
Right.
Yeah, and we have an obligation, once we've heard the case, to give them a decision within 30 days. So I can't postpone 30 days, because then I've violated giving him a decision.
Okay. Yep. Just delivering a message, that's it.
Yes, I understand.
I'd just like to add is when we're considering these cases, we look at how it's gonna impact the neighborhood, and if there's gonna be negative impacts, or it's gonna hurt the property values, but there's been nothing expressed that gives us any sense that anybody's gonna
I'm
be
not a
hurt.
realtor, I couldn't speak to that. What do I know?
We're not hearing any why nots. I mean, why not, as far as how it's gonna affect the neighborhood?
I can't speak for the others that have why nots. I don't know what their why nots are. I'm only asking, they asked me.
To be honest, I don't even know what your why not is. I'm trying to figure it out.
There's been a lot of messengers in life that might not have had a why not, so why not?
There you go. All right, is that it for you, gentlemen? Is that,
Thank you.
all right. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, you can go first, that way I don't cover anything you said.
I'm sure Tom has some things you want to say, but I'll just speak first to the concern about the appearance of this, and I'm glad these guys had a chance to look at the drawings here. But I know when you hear 4-car garage, that a flag goes up that this is, it's a big project, that it's going to be outsized and really, not go with the house. As you see in the drawings, this is it has the appearance of a 2-car garage from the front of the house. So we're hoping that, Tom doesn't want a garage that dwarfs his, from the front, that looks like it dwarfs his house. So we've tried with the look of this to really make it go with the size of the house. And again, from the street, the appearance, and really from anywhere else where you can see this, the appearance is that of a 2-car garage. And not only a 2-car garage, but a 2-car garage that is incorporated with the house, because we are putting some living space up above that. And I want to comment about the request to table this for another month. As Tom mentioned, he is talking to a builder, and it's a slim chance, but there is a chance still that we might be able to get something going before the winter at this point. So tabling this for another month would definitely take that off the table. So we would, for no other reason, for that reason, we'd appreciate a decision today so that we can figure out how to move forward and see if we can actually get something going before the winter on this.
Oh, actually, that kind of covered it. I'm not really sure what their concerns are with this. It seems to me like it's some sort of personal vendetta or something. But I am spending a significant amount of money on this. I bought the house as a foreclosure, and I've been fixing it back up. The original owners ripped a lot of stuff out when they moved out to spite the bank, and I've at the point where I wanted to expand. I don't have a garage. It's been quite a hardship. My cars leak rain. Mice got into them this last winter, and I still haven't got the smell out. So this would be a great boon, and since I am spending a lot of money on it, I wanted to make sure that it would increase my property value. And that's why I hired an architect and had a nice design made. So I don't think there's any question that it would increase property values in the neighborhood. And like you mentioned, if this were to be detached even by 1 inch, it would be allowed under the current rules. I'm just basically asking for that 1 inch connection, just so that I don't have to walk outside to go into my garage. So I'm not sure what their concern was, because it wasn't really clear to me. But as far as the special exception criteria are in here, I think I was pretty thorough going through there. The state laid out approximately 10 or 12 things that were to be looked for, impacts on sun coming into people's solar panels, air and wind, population density, and it's pretty clear that this doesn't meet any of those, and that it has basically no repercussions on anyone else in the neighborhood, especially people that are 4 or 5 houses away. And all of the abutters were notified in a timely manner. I sought to make sure that list was complete, and like I said, the person next door, it was a new person that had moved in, so I went and talked to them, and they liked the project, so they liked the idea so much that they gave me their contractor's information, and none of them are here to speak against it, except for people that aren't abutters, that seem to have some sort of personal vendetta against me. As to why, I can't say, but I would ask that you grant this exception. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? I guess we'll go through this criteria. Criteria 1, Terry?
Yeah, it meets criteria, yeah.
I feel it does as well. Criteria 1.
Agree.
I agree.
Criteria 2, the terrain and configuration make it more appropriate than not for a special exception.
Yes.
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 I wouldn't have worded it that way, but generally, yes.
Yes? Okay. And criteria 3, whether granting the special exception would adversely impact neighboring parcels. I say no, that it would not.
It would not.
Correct.
So, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Sorry, I didn't get it in before, but as far as your addition goes, on your lot, which one of these abutters is the closest to that side?
That would be Jason Spear, and,
In favor?
yeah, he's the gentleman that gave me this.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
How long has Jason been in the neighborhood?
He's been here approximately a month and a half. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything here. You keep saying that you've been in the neighborhood since the beginning. I know I only bought
This is the first time I've
in.
ever spoken to you,
Okay.
ever.
I'm not sure what that has to do with anything, sir, and you seem to.
People usually know their neighbors.
Well, I'm sorry, sir. I spend a lot of time working at the university. I don't have time to socialize. I'm also quite introverted. I guess you have some animosity against me because I bought a foreclosure in the neighborhood 6 years after the neighborhood was built. I'm sorry that I don't come socialize with everyone in the neighborhood. I don't think that's really a reason to bring your personal vendetta in front of a board and waste people's time with complaints that don't seem to go anywhere. Would you like to speak to your vendetta, or is it just that I don't socialize with you?
No, I've got nothing.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so on criteria 3, I think Terry and I were, does not adversely impact
Criteria 3 is what? Oh,
Does
property
it-
values.
property values,
I agree.
that it does not impact. And Peter?
I don't see any impact.
Okay. So it looks like you've met all 3 criteria, gentlemen. And again, there's a 30-day appeal window. But there you go. That's
Great.
it. Motion is passed.
Thank you.
All right. Discussion is closed on case 18012 SE. Public meeting, review the 2019 calendar. Our other business for the evening. Bonnie, can you take a look at this to see if any of the election?
Joanna, election, is that
This is
a
19.
consideration?
Yes.
Joanna, did you check the election calendar? Or these others,
Yes, I did check the election calendar.
don't have it memorized, so she probably checked it. We don't know when the presidential primary is, right? We don't know until the last
Well,
night.
there isn't,
What is it next
there
year?
isn't
The year
this
after?
year,
No.
2020.
Okay.
Good call.
It's an easy year for you.
Oh, yeah, so it should be just the
One
March.
election.
So the town meeting is the 12th of March, and the, election day, and then the town meeting is the 16th. So, that is why I chose the March 19th, which is, would have been is the 3rd Tuesday of the month anyhow. So it flowed perfectly.
Okay.
The town meeting will be on March 16th.
I think we decided that the third Tuesday doesn't meet that. The only wild card could be the presidential primary, because it's not a set date.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If an appeal is filed, does that block him from starting his 30-day window to try to start building before the winter?
No, but it might jeopardize if you actually prevail.
Thank you.
He can spend the money or not, it's his decision, I think.
All right, thank you.
Then
I
if
don't
you-
think the appeal is to us, is it? Is it the Superior Court or us?
They can ask for a rehearing from us.
What's that?
They can ask us for a
Well,
rehearing.
he's not a,
And if we deny it, they can go to Superior Court.
That's not what the question is. It's regarding if they contest our vote tonight, what
That
happens
would
with
be-
him being
I
able
think
to
they
go
go to
forward?
the Superior Court.
Had it happen before, I think it's select board, but
We've already
because
voted.
voted.
Right,
So
so I
you-
think it goes off to the Superior Court.
I believe so.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I think the appeal would be through Superior Court, but we can check with legal and I can get back to you.
There's always a 30-day window, and it's very
Right.
rigid.
Okay,
Okay, just know that.
thank you.
Contact me in the office, the planning board office.
All right, what's your name?
Joanna Aaron.
Okay, go ahead.
Thursday, Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Sure.
Or Monday.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think. I think it's the applicant that would ask for a
Right.
rehearing.
Right, if we denied.
If we denied and missed something.
Correct.
But an appeal
Right, is it
of our
appeal
decision
to the court?
would go
Gotta go
directly
to-
to Superior Court.
Yeah.
I,
That's what I think, that's what I've always thought.
yeah, I don't think that's changed.
No, I don't think it's changed, I've just never had it happen.
We-
So I didn't know
We're,
if it
we're
was-
the appeal process if the selectman or the building inspector make a
Okay.
decision.
Okay.
So if they make a decision, we hear the case, then the Superior
Right.
Court hears it. Court hears it.
Yeah, we've done that.
But for us, it goes directly to Superior Court in this instance. I'm like 90+%.
I think so.
think you're
That's what I've always assumed. so
And that's what I've done in the
Yeah.
past.
That's why we warn everybody,
Right,
Right.
30
30
days.
days, anyone can appeal on
An
just.
appeal. I don't know
Wouldn't make sense to appeal.
why they were so wound up
Yeah, it was-
over a house that's so far back.
I know, it's like, I've been over, I mean, I walked all that land on conservation, it's like, wait a minute. And this is one of the nicest presentations.
We've had
He
in a
spent a
while.
lot of money. I'm
Yeah.
surprised he spent so much money.
like I say, you get up there, you can't even see any butters.
No.
Just the one. All right, so, meeting minutes, are they?
I put them,
On your
on
desk.
the table. I sent them out last week.
Yes, I got them late, you were working.
Yeah. I wanted to try to get the oldest set of minutes done. I'm almost done with this month, but I couldn't squeeze them in.
I only found one thing in my reading of it, and it was just a deleting of the word, his, on the bottom of page 2.
Yeah, I'm
where-
sorry, there's no one.
No, yeah, so it's like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th line up from the bottom. It starts with Mr. Loser.
Mm-hmm.
Stated that his based, we deleted the word his, and then the sentence reads correctly.
Okay.
That's my only correction.
Based on his.
That's my only correction.
I have a couple. In the very end, he'd have me married up, Joanna.
Mrs.
Mrs. McKinnon. I need to be married to my father to be Mrs.
Oh.
McKinnon.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Just take out the R. It's in the first motion made.
I think I gave everybody
The adjournment.
Oh,
So,
you
good.
did. You did go through and do that. I didn't catch it because I'm a Mrs., so it doesn't matter to me.
Can you make that note, Laura? I
Yep.
gave everybody a copy. Not me. Did you all agree that the calendar looked good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I will get that to you.
Except the December one is too close to Christmas, but
Did you look at like,
17th is too close.
it's a week.
Oh, a week plus 1 day, and I know because my son was born on the 18th.
That's too close to Christmas.
did you review the baseball schedule and stuff?
I wish I could do that too.
And the playoffs.
I
and
couldn't believe
everything else.
today, I said, yeah, it's an early game, and
yeah.
Oh, there'll be plenty left when we get home.
I don't know, they were up to the 5th inning when I
So,
came in, so it's really close.
I move that we approve the minutes as, for July 17th, 2018, as amended.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Abstain?
I'll abstain.
You're approving minutes, not the content of them. That's it.
But he wasn't here.
He wasn't present.
Was that the one you recused?
He was here. He's here. He was here in this
Oh,
one.
okay.
I was here, but I recused myself from the whole case, so I think I should probably recuse myself from the approval of it.
Oh,
I'm just letting you know that it's the minutes themselves, her work, you're approving and
Okay, I
disapproving.
approve then.
Not the minutes,
I
because
don't
if we
wanna diss
approved them based
Joanne.
on what we had here, I'd be deleting them, so, too.
Peter, the big thing that is constantly mentioned at the NHMA training sessions that we've gone through workshops, that people get a little confused as to when you should approve, or vote on the minutes or not. You're only approving whether they are clear and concise and accurate,
Okay.
not
That-
whether you were abstained or not.
All right, all right, I'm with you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Can I speak to the next meeting?
Yes.
Currently, the governing board, I believe, does not have any cases.
Three.
For November.
Us.
Is
Zoning
there
board.
time to set one up?
A case?
Right, it's,
Yes.
Might there
Oh.
be, is what I'm asking.
Oh, 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 oh,
Yes.
gotcha.
Is there enough time?
there's
if
like
somebody
probably
comes
another
in?
week, right, or two?
The 26th is the next
Deadline.
deadline.
So 10 days. So next Thursday.
The
So
23rd.
if we don't have any cases, we
20
get
I'm
the
looking at
month
the wrong
off.
month.
October 28th is the next deadline. Or the November 19th meeting.
November.
Oh, I'm looking at next
Yeah,
year.
sorry. October 22nd is the next deadline for the November 20th. I am out of office all next week, so I won't know if we get anything until I come in. So right now, I don't have anything though. So, but I will let you guys know as soon as I do. If there isn't one, is it the will of the board to vote at this meeting right now to not have a November meeting?
Yes.
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 Although on that day, I could show off my AARP card.
It's Mike's birthday,
The next day, the
November.
day before,
the 18th?
the 19th. The meeting is on the 20th, Tuesday the
I
20th.
thought you said the 19th.
She did, but it's Tuesday the 20th.
Okay.
So you
Monday,
don't-
my birthday's on a Monday.
You don't look 65 to be.
No, that's,
Well, happy
that's Social
birthday.
Security. Thank you.
If
If
when
I
that
make
time
it.
comes, when that time comes.
If I make
If
it.
we're
I
not
think you'll
here
be
for
all
a
right.
meeting for me to wish you happy birthday, then I say it now.
All right, thank you,
Ditto. I'll say
Thank you.
ditto.
thank you.
I'll yell it over
Is,
the fence.
does Dale work a full week, or is he partial days, the new building inspector?
He is 8 to 2, Monday through Thursday. No
Okay.
Fridays.
No Friday, or,
No Fridays.
okay. Alright.
Trying to get himself organized in the office and he's coming in occasional Fridays, non-posted, closed door. He's
I
doing
hear
a
you.
big
That's
job.
the only way you get
Yeah,
anything
that's the only way
done.
to get stuff done.
Yes. Yeah. So,
Well, he called, left me a message, and I haven't had a chance to return it because I was out of town. So I just wanted to make sure he's gonna be there tomorrow. I'll have some time, I can call him.
okay.
All right.
Yes. Well, I can't say that he will be there.
Right.
If you call him in the
Theoretically.
afternoon, his office hours are 12 to 2,
All
on
right.
Wednesday. So he should be in the office at that time.
All right, I'll call after 12. That'll work. Great.
So you want the meeting adjourned so you can go watch your game?
I'll second that.
He wants to watch the game, I don't care.
Celtics, first game of the Celtics season.
I only watch hockey rarely.
I don't ever watch anything unless it's the World Series.
Yeah, I
or
only watched the
Super Bowl.
playoff, I haven't watched the Red Sox.
Yeah, Super Bowl or
I
World
don't watch
Series.
anything, including the World Series.
And I don't even watch football.
No, I haven't.
So did
This is
the
too
meeting
much.
adjourn?
Yeah.
I don't think we voted.
No, we didn't yet.
She said, "Do you want me to?" And I said,
We
"Yes."
adjourn the meeting.
Okay, that's three.
Yeah, I think he seconded it. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Yes.
We,
Thank you, Joanna, for all the hard work to get this going.